This is a Beanbag Chair Media production.
I'm Garrett. I'm a performing musician by trade, graduated with a bachelor's degree in music production, and have been binging anime for almost 2 decades.
And I'm Emily. I'm a classically trained violinist and have been indulging in the animes since I was a wee little human.
This is an anime review podcast, where we help the new viewer decide where they want to start while taking the superfan on a deep dive into the overlooked realm of music and sound effects. Dokie. We're cooking.
Are we nice and hot?
We're nice and hot.
Spicy.
Sweaty. Sultry. Close the windows. Turn the heat up.
Oh, yeah, we need to do that soon. All right.
You're gross. Even though it was my idea.
I love the sweaty sex. I'm sorry.
I'm saving that. That's on our podcast now.
Okay. That's fine. Go ahead. Do it.
Hello, anime family, and welcome back to another episode of Anime Noise. We almost got in harmony there.
That's what I was kind of hoping for, but then I couldn't catch it.
That's okay. I kind of caught yours.
Yeah. We didn't really synchronize that very well.
We don't practice this, if you guys can't tell.
Welcome back, everybody. It's so nice to have you here.
Yes, and if you can't tell by, our Instagram promotions and everything else up to this point, or by every fucking introduction that I've done so far, we are doing My Hero Academia, Boku no Hero Academia Season 1, baby.
Yeah.
I'm super excited because it's coming out at the end of the month. The new season.
Yeah. So we decided that we wanted to stay within the realm of like the animes that are getting ready for their spring premieres.
Yeah, we want to make it. We want to be trendy too,
That's right. We like to be relevant and with the times, even though we're old. So it's
exactly.
fine.
You're old. Speak for yourself.
God damn it. Yeah. So I was a little concerned about doing this because I was like, man, everybody hates on MHA so much that I don't know if they're gonna even be interested in this. And I'm like, you know what? It's okay. Because I'm sure that there are other people out in the world who don't care about fucking fan bases.
Yeah, I think people they don't hate on MHA. Well, I guess they do.
They do, because they judge it instantly because of the fan base.
Because of the fan base, which is weird to me. Just like whatever you want, If somebody's an idiot online, that's their fault,
That's true. And, and I don't feel like, it goes back to fucking people creating shit. They didn't want the fan base. They didn't decide who the fan base was.
The people that made this made it because they liked it and enjoyed making it.
Yeah. Homeboy Horikoshi, he fucking loves all of the superhero stuff. He just wanted to make a good hero. And I think
he did. He fucking nailed it.
Or a good manga.
It's great. Yeah, he's a manga writer.
He's a manga writer. But difference. It's the same thing. It's an adaptation of the manga. We're rolling. It's good. We got some teary moments a lot from this real dramatic kid, but it's all good.
Yeah. I mean, I think that all of you listeners are mature and smart enough to just like what the fuck whatever you want to do. You like whatever you like. Or
if
not
you're,
like
if
whatever
you're
you don't
getting
wanna
too
like.
influenced by people who are like on the internet, those keyboard warriors, then you must not love anime enough.
Warrior is a strong term for them
Why?
because they're bitches.
Oh well, yeah, they are. They are straight up bitches, but they're certainly
Keyboard
they
warriors. That is a
certainly come
fucking
out-
oxymoron.
It is, and I think that's like the whole reason behind it is that it is an oxymoron.
Unless you're like, I would call keyboard warriors like,
People who go in and like stop the bullying, like you're a little bitch.
no, not that.
That's what I would if I were a keyboard warrior. That would be like the anti-bully, anti-warrior.
My dad
Or
is a
warrior.
keyboard warrior. He is the chief technological officer of a credit union. He protects people's money from hackers. He's a keyboard warrior.
He's a warrior.
Yeah. Well,
We have our own definition of keyboard warrior in the anime world.
yes, we do. That's called Sword Art Online.
Or no game, no life.
Or No Game, No Life. Exactly.
That's a keyboard warrior right there. Anyways, guys, let's get back on topic.
God damn, we ramble. Okay. My Hero Academia Season 1. Go for it, Emily.
All right, guys. As you know, this one is a pretty recent one. April to June of 2016. It's licensed by Funimation, as massive amounts of anime really are.
Yeah, at least in America.
It was made in Studio Bones, and if you don't remember from our
Very first episode.
They also did Soul Eater. They also did Noragami and Mob Psycho 100 and the OG Full Metal Alchemist.
Fucking titans right there.
Fucking Titans.
Those are keyboard warriors. Bringing it back.
Bringing it back. All right. So this one's directed by Kenji Nagasaki. He hasn't done a whole lot of big ones on his own as the main director. He did assist in Mobile Suit Gundam, and he also did on his own Classroom Crisis and Number 6. Haven't seen those, but if he directed this one, I'm interested in seeing those now. That's
Yeah.
how this works. This is why we give credits, guys.
I mean, Mobile Suit Gundam, I haven't seen that for so long.
I haven't seen
but
it at all.
That one's a good one too. I didn't used to be the biggest fan of mecha animes, and I think that's why I never got into like Gundam.
Oh, okay.
But then I learned to relove it from like the movie Pacific Rim.
Oh yeah, that'll
that's
do
great.
it.
That'll
Yeah,
do it.
That'll do it.
All right, the sound director is Masafumi Mima. He owns the sound production company Techno Sound Company. He's also done Attack on Titan, all 4 of the seasons, Card Captor Sakura, Skate the Infinity, which we just recently started.
Yeah, we
haven't
started it.
gotten too far into it, but I do love the sound effects of it. It's pretty good. And then almost every single thing Pokemon.
It was ridiculous.
The list was long.
It was all the things.
The sound effects were done by Shizuo Kurahashi. He also did Attack on Titan, Berserk, Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, and Soul Eater. So a lot of
Soul
people
Eater.
working together on this.
Soul Eater's
that have
just
worked
close
together in the
to my
past.
heart. It makes me so sad that Preston's not into Soul Eater.
Not a lot of people are into Soul Eater.
I
And
know,
he really,
that's
it's not
so
that he
weird.
wasn't into it.
I know.
He just said the last fight was kind of lame.
So rude. Preston, if you're listening to this, it's still rude. I'm still very
She's
hurt by this.
butthurt.
I am. All right. So, as I kind of touched on earlier, the manga was written by Kohei.
You'll get it.
Kohei.
Kohei.
Sorry, my friend. Kohei Horikoshi. Why am I so bad? I was doing so good.
That's all right. We'll see how you do on the next one.
Thanks. Yeah, it's bad.
Here it comes.
It's real bad. All right. I'm going to even say that one first. So he also wrote Omagadoki Zoo.
Omagadoki.
God damn it. I suck so bad. I'm so sorry if I offend anybody. He also wrote Barrage. And I do want to point out, though, that there's a lot of things that have been referenced from his previous mangas in My Hero Academia. For instance, Old Orca Dude.
I forget the guy's name.
Is it
He's
Killer-
not really introduced in season
I know
1.
he's not in season 1, but it's like a fun, like, we're never going to talk about this again.
That's true.
We're
The
never
or-
going to
the
talk
orca
about,
guy.
like, the Orca guy. He was based off of a character in that manga. I'm not going to say it again.
Omagadoki Zoo.
Omagadoki. Blah. Anyways. So he is massively inspired by Naruto, which he actually Naruto's manga ended up doing a whole thing with MHA. Like there was Deku and Naruto on the same cover
Really?
of the Shonen Jump magazine. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
And so he's also inspired by One Piece and Akira for this particular manga, and he loves American Marvel comics.
Nice.
Yeah.
Who doesn't?
Superheroes, man. So in 2008, 6 years prior to the MHA that we all know, we all love, Horikoshi wrote a one-shot titled My Hero, where everything about Izuku is completely different. So he's like this sickly, skinny, like older salary man.
Not a buff teenager.
Yeah, and then he sells, or even at the beginning, a lanky teenager. He sells hero items, but he does maintain the fact that he desperately wants to be a hero. So I thought that was pretty cool how it evolved like that.
Yeah, that is interesting. Now I want to know, like, I want to read the one shot.
I know, right? And like I said, it was published in the Weekly Shonen Jump magazine. And I have a little bit from the first volume of the author's notes for this. And I liked it just because he was just like, I liked it. And this is what I wanted to do. It kind of goes back to the creators that we were just talking about. So it says, this is my third series to be collected into graphic novels. Forgive me if this sounds reckless, but the thing I prioritize most when drawing manga is creating something that I can enjoy. This one might not remain popular, but for now, I'll just be happy if everyone finds it as fun as I do.
And I think we all did.
We did. I found it fun.
I certainly did.
Absolutely.
I think it's funny that he thinks that's reckless. I mean, it's only reckless if you go broke and homeless over it.
Yeah, that's true. Like if you spend all of your family's fortune and you're pretty reckless financially, and
or if you just know that you're a bad story writer and a bad artist, just somebody that, although you love it, your skills aren't very good, and so you do it anyway.
Yeah.
And then you go broke.
That's right.
Well, but that's not the case with this guy.
So
it's not reckless. It's the opposite
We're doing
of that.
a whole hypothetical here. That's not a
Yep.
thing. All right, Garrett, what's this anime about?
This anime is, well, there's a lot to it, but let me just give you a really, really basic summary here without spoiling too much if you haven't already seen it, which you should have. In a world where 80% of the population possesses supernatural abilities, Izuku Midoriya is left quirkless with a dream of becoming a hero. When he meets and then inherits the powers of the number one hero, All Might, the tides change and he seems closer to his dreams. Not long after receiving these powers, however, he realizes just how challenging being a hero is.
Oh my. In a world.
That's my narrator voice.
When I wrote it, I was like, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, if you haven't seen it, it's the first season is pretty short. It's only 13 episodes. They run for 24 minutes. So it's really like
and you got that 13 and a half episode.
And then that 13 and a half episode,
the recap.
Which I kind of love that they do that for certain animes.
Yeah, like
what were we watching just recently where they summed it up? Oh, it was Kakegurui, where they did that awesome sum up of the.
But it was the outro.
No. This was coming into season 2.
Yeah, so
when we came into season 2, it was the beginning of it, and we were like, "What are we doing here?" And it started in the middle. Like it started the second season,
yeah,
and then it did the recap in such an interesting way.
Yeah,
so
I thought that was cool.
I love when they make it interesting, or even make it its own episode. Like you can choose whether or not you want to watch it, and I think that's something that I love. And I'm like, dude, I just like binged this. I don't need a recap.
Yeah, thank you for like making it 13.5, so I know that I can totally skip this episode.
Yeah,
like the thing that really bugged me about Black Clover actually is like there were too many recap episodes too soon.
And
it was like by episode 39 it was already the entire episode was a recap. I don't know if 39 is an actual number there, but
we were super disappointed. It's like, wow, we didn't need that right now.
No, it was so pointless. We were ready to move on with the story. That's the one thing that really, really bugged me about Black Clover, which sucks because I love that anime.
I know, and I really didn't think I'd be that into it, but I find myself really looking forward to it every week.
It's even more frustrating when they give you a whole recap, but then
they don't really give you any.
You can't skip it because there's just a little bit of information that you needed for the next episode.
Because they put it like right at the very end.
Or sprinkled in the middle where it's like somebody's telling a story. You know what other anime did it? Hunter x Hunter.
Oh, yeah.
The recap episode for Hunter x Hunter when he writes a letter to his mom. Mm-hmm. That is an entire recap episode. I thought it would have been done better if they just started the whole series with the letter to his mom. Letter, yeah. And then he's telling the story about how he got to where he is now, and then you move forward. Yeah. You know? Then you would have skipped that whole episode, and you wouldn't have had any recaps. You don't really need them.
I know. Well, you know, it is what it is, and people are going to do the ways that we want, and we can just highlight the things that we like we just did.
That is absolutely true.
Yeah. So good job, My Hero Academia, on your 13.5 episode. But 13 episodes is pretty easy to binge, so get to it if you haven't seen it, please.
It is a very, very quick and easy anime first season, anyway, to watch.
Right.
Yeah, let's move on to the meat and potatoes.
So, guys, I featured this one on our Instagram this week for Tuesday Tunes, and you know what? I just forgot that I didn't put the Tuesday Tunes hashtag yesterday.
You dummy.
I know. I am a dummy. I apologize. But yes, that's what it was supposed to be, Tuesday Tunes. But if you are not a part of our anime family on our Instagram,
then go do that.
Jesus. That's not what I was going to say. But I was just going to let you know that I'm so excited to finally come across an anime that we're reviewing that has porno graffiti in it. And I don't know if it's because I love the name or
you need to clarify, is it the actual band Porno Graffiti, or are you just you really want to see some like hentai?
Well, like I said, they had to have known when people were going to Google search them that they were going to have some pretty strange things pop up.
Yeah, it's kind of like if you Google searched our production company, BBC Media.
Yeah, that's true.
That's the whole reason why I like the name. I think that's hilarious.
Do you even... I want to know. Do you listeners even know why it's called BBC Media?
I'm sure that they've figured it out.
If you do, please...
Message us on Instagram.
Message us on Instagram and let us know your thoughts. Because now I want to know. I don't think we've actually ever said it.
No, we haven't. Not in any of the episodes so far.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, Thursday thoughts for sure. Okay, so the intro is The Day by Porno Graffiti. The song The Day was released as a single with 2 other tracks in 2016, and then it was released on the album Butterfly Effect in 2017. Now, over Christmas break, I was doing some research for our next episode, and Garrett was in Florida, and I had to send him a screenshot of what classified a single. And we have been...
Versus like an EP
versus an LP or an EP. And we were pleasantly surprised because it turns out that a single can be up to 3 tracks.
Yes, it can.
So when we have been super confused about these singles, and it's not really a single because there's like 6 tracks on here. Some of them are actually not singles, but this one technically is.
It's a real single. It's only one song.
It's a real single. Well, no, it has 2 other tracks on it.
Oh,
that's what I'm saying.
Okay, never mind. My bad.
Get out of here. Get on out of here.
Brain fart.
Yeah. All right. So this one peaked at number 4 on the Oricon.
The Oricon.
The Oricon. All right. Let's talk about the band. So, as we know, they are an anime video game type of band. This particular band formed in 1994 while they were still in high school.
They're as old as me.
They are as old as Garrett. God damn it. In the earlier days, though, it was called No Score because none of the people knew how to read a score. So it's 2 cousins and then some intermittent bassist and guitar and drummers. And so I love that they were called No Score because
that's a great band name too.
It relates to them. However, the band as Porno Graffiti truly formed in 2,999.
I love that typo that you put there.
We were reading over the notes, and I'm like, apparently they're from the future.
They're from 1,000 years in the fucking future.
Seriously, ridiculous. 1999. They truly formed in 1999. They had got their name from an American metal band called Extreme. It's based off of their second studio album called Porno Graffiti.
Fun fact, if you didn't know, no titles can be trademarked. Like titles of bands, names of bands, that's a name, not a title, can be trademarked, but titles cannot. So you could name your movie. I could name a series that I came out with on TV or Netflix and call it My Hero Academia.
Interesting.
Sounds like plagiarism. Turns out you can't actually trademark titles as long as it's an actual title and not a name.
Right. Interesting. But wouldn't it be the name of the anime, or would it?
Nope,
It would still be
title
just
of
the
the
title
anime.
of the anime. Interesting. So we know they're anime video game bands. So what are they featured in? Well, that's a great question, Emily. This is what they're featured in.
I love how you asked yourself your own question.
I looked at you when I asked it.
You sure did. Go for it.
All right. So they were in the OG Full Metal Alchemist, Bleach, Magi, The Labyrinth of Magic, Detective Conan, Real Life, and a bunch of other ones. These were just ones that I knew that people have at least heard of.
And the OG Full Metal Alchemist, it sounds like them, and then the two other producers and creators that worked on that also worked on Full Metal Alchemist. So it's like everybody's worked together before for this, which
like
I think
you've
is
got
cool.
you've got Full Metal Alchemist, you've got Soul Eater. These like animes have just brought a bunch of people together, and they just continue to work on bigger and better things.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Are you ready to listen to it, Garrett?
I think I'm ready to listen to it. Let's give this bitch a listen.
Goodness.
静けさが染み込むよね息を止めた午前5時情を嗅いだ熱目をかる明日はどっちださってして明けない夜も降り続けてやまない雨もこのろくでもない世界にはあるんだよ
It's a sick bass tone.
少しも変ではないの
I love this song.
I do too.
And I'm not going to lie, I have just a fixation on Japanese bassists.
Oh yeah, they have some super intricate.
It's
licks
really,
and
it's
shit.
surprisingly ornate for how well it stays in the pocket. And every time I listen to a Japanese bassist, especially from anime songs, it makes me feel like, damn, my bass playing is not that good. I'm like, why can't I do the cool shit like that?
You're telling me, yo.
But a lot of it is just who you work with and understanding what a bass can actually do.
Whoa. Thanks, Crunchyroll.
Yeah, thanks Crunchyroll, YouTube. Fucking A. Yeah, I mean, the thing that gets me with Japanese bassists, it's like whenever I play bass, I always try to stay in the pocket, and whenever I get too ornate with it, I'm like, nah, that it really doesn't need to be there. I'm like having too much fun, you know?
No, see, this is the difference between I feel like the Western music and music that comes out of the Asian countries, Japan and Korea and stuff like that, because I love that they give the opportunity for every single instrument to really shine. Like there's some things on your album that like, you know, you shine in.
Yeah.
You know, there's certain things where you have like your own solo, but it doesn't happen nearly enough. Like I feel like it's almost like unheard of for the bass to have like their own like moving section.
It's not that it's unheard of. I just think that like Porno Graffiti, this song in particular, the bass stayed really well in pocket, but also moved. It's like it made the music follow it.
Right, which I mean is it's
didn't
part
make
of the rhythm.
It didn't make the vocals follow it.
Right.
The vocals did their own melody, and it still countered the melody without stepping on the vocals, which I think is really cool. It takes a lot of studying and stuff to fit that kind of ornate bass line with the rest of a song, especially when not all the fills are the same. That's another thing I notice about Japanese bassists and Japanese music. When they're playing, when I play bass, I play stuff to the drum fills, and I will try to copy that. But I always find that I need to bring a fill. If I'm doing the same fill in the first verse, I'm going to do it again in the second verse,
right,
at the same spot, to make it feel like it's repeating.
It's yeah,
you know,
it's
more
it's
hooky. It grabs
yeah.
you. They evolve their fills every time around. Like there's something different every time.
See, and I like that. I would much rather have something like that, and this is of no offense to your bass playing and how
No,
you
it's
choose
just
to play,
that's just
play
how
bass.
I've gotten used to it up until now. I'm trying to do more shit like that.
But I do agree that I think it's good to keep a same theme. A lot of people, like when you're just hearing a song, like you want to be able to anticipate certain sounds and certain rhythms and things like that. I feel like that's okay. But adding like something a little more ornamental each time, I feel like that's not necessarily a bad thing. I feel like that just keeps it interesting. And now you're like, oh man, I want to go back and listen to that again. And that's what puts your songs on repeat.
Yeah.
Because you're like, man, I just want to hear. I want to hear that
around.
again. I want to hear it again. And then before you know it, it's the end of the day, and you've listened to it like 20 times. Oh, that's not me. No, I would never do anything like that.
No, I think it's really cool how they incorporate that. The bass lines are just, it's done very, very well. Like I don't know if they have help writing these things. If they do it all by themselves, I'm sure many of them do, especially if they're a band from as old as me.
Yeah, that's true.
You know?
They've got a lot of experience under their belts. That's for damn sure.
Yeah. So
almost 30 years of just making music. That's not even in their whole lives.
Yep. Yeah, I know I'll get there one day.
You will.
One day.
We'll all get there one day. You put enough time and effort into it. All right. We ready for some lyrics?
I think we're ready for some lyrics.
I don't have a whole lot because this song was pretty much meant for this anime.
Yeah,
it's called The Day.
The Day.
We all know what that means. So the lyric that caught me that really was like, oh yeah, this puts it at a definite yes for me is don't know where you're going. Aren't you actually scared? Each step you take is changing. The day has come.
The day has come.
The day has come.
Yes.
That's actually in English. Like you can.
Yeah.
That's one you can pick up on. But yeah, I mean that's. I can't really talk about it too much
without spoiling it. Yeah,
so.
We're gonna not spoil it. Or we're gonna do our best not to spoil it. Now that I'm thinking about the future breakdown of the OST that we're about to have to do,
we might just have to tell you to take a pause, go watch it a little.
Spoiler warning right now. Now you know. This is it. This is the warning.
There it is.
Okay, so what do you think about the song as a whole? Does it fit?
Yeah, absolutely. It's upbeat. The animation is perfect. It talks about the conflicts. It talks about heroes. I'm sorry, it doesn't talk about anything. It talks about, or it shows, it shows the thematic things of each issue that you deal with in season 1. And since this whole intro carries on through all 13 episodes, it does a really good job of showing everything that's going to happen in the animation. And I feel like the song is upbeat enough to keep up with it. Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, I think it definitely fits. So
okay,
let's move on to the outro. And the outro is called Heroes. Think it was made for this anime? Maybe. Maybe.
Most likely.
It's called Heroes by Brian the Sun. It was released in 2016 as a single, and then on the album Pathos and Ethos, it peaked at number 33 on the Oricon. Brian the Sun formed in 2007, but didn't make their major debut until 2016 with this song. That is a pretty epic major debut, if you ask me. Fuck, I'd be happy to just have any song. Even if I just played one note on one track for one anime episode.
You're like, this would be my dream.
I did that note. You hear that C sharp? It's me.
Fuck, it'd be if I played the triangle on something, I'd be like, I'm the triangle person.
I played percussion.
Oh God, like every band member.
I was in percussion.
Oh Jesus.
They named their band after the Arctic Monkeys song Brainstorm.
Not Brainstorm.
Not Brainstorm. I read that wrong a bunch the first time around. No, it's Brainstorm. And at 18 years old, they played in Senko Riot, a teenage rock festival similar to a School of Rock type of thing. And they won semi-Grand Prix. So second place, I think.
Yeah, I don't know.
Out of 5,000 groups who participated. So, I mean, even semi-Grand Prix sounds pretty epic.
Even fifth place sounds great out of 5,000.
Semi Grand Prix.
Semi. Yeah, I thought that was pretty great. And it, that was like, they were just coming out of high school. Like,
yeah.
That's crazy.
Pretty fucking badass, if you ask me.
Yeah.
They were also featured in Boruto, Sweetness and Lightning, which sounds really cool. True Cooking Master Boy. March Comes In Like a Lion, and as of the end of 2020, they have decided to disband on good terms, which is sad, but it's bittersweet, I guess.
Yeah, because you never know what kind of reunion tours are going to come out of this. There's a bunch of stuff that can happen.
But they wanted to consider their own lives and respect the opportunity for solo careers, all because they're 30. And Emily wrote, ugh, eye roll.
Yeah, that's so depressing.
Because you're going to be 30 this year?
I'm going to be 30 in August, and I just don't want it.
There's nothing wrong with being 30.
Yeah, well, they make it sound like something's wrong with being 30.
There ain't nothing wrong with being 30.
Because they're like 29 and 30. And so, like, they're like, some of us are already 30. Some of us are coming up on 30. So
like,
we're
holy
just...
shit, my life is going to end?
I'm like, shit, man, what's so wrong with turning 30? Oh, no. So that's why I was like, ugh, fuck. 30.
What is the deal with that? There's just like 20s are just...
20s
yesterday.
are meant for having fun, and 30s are meant for raising babies.
Raising babies.
But I already did that in my 20s, so 30s are my time to shine.
That's right. It's the golden age.
Yeah. Also, there's
perfectly seasoned.
There's one thing that I would like to point out before we move into listening to this.
Okay.
What is it about everybody needing to know blood types? Like, what is it?
Yeah, I don't know.
Because
I wish I knew my blood type. It'd be really important for me to know that.
That'd probably be really.
But every time I ask my mom, she's like, she goes, "Well, it's probably A or B positive or AB positive." And then she's like, "If it's not any of those, then you may not be your father's son."
I'm A negative, just in case you need to know that one day.
That is good to know.
Yeah. But yeah, no. Every time I went to go look, I look at like the Japan Wikipedia.
Mm-hmm.
They
have all the blood types.
They name every single member's blood type, and then you go into like J-pop something like to go look at the numbers from the Oricon, and it's the same thing. Their blood type is AB. Why? Why do you need? Are you saving your blood so you can donate it to them if something ever happens to them?
If their tour bus crashes and it's on fire,
like, are we
and you drag
worst?
out an injured body, you're like, "What is your name?" They're like, I'm the guitarist of this band." They're like, "Hold on, let me go check Oricon." Oh, sweet, I can save your life. We have the same blood.
I'm O-type. I'm a universal donor. Not
here,
like
suck
that
my blood.
Yeah, like that shit just blows my mind. Why? And it seems more prominent in like Asian cultures, because here in America you look it up online and it's really not that prominent.
No,
it's not really a thing.
Like I said, I don't even know.
That's so weird.
I wouldn't be able to tell anybody. We'll just have to find out on their own.
We'll just have to adopt some like an O blood type and then be like, "I'm sorry, but you are now our universal blood donor."
That sounds really schemy.
It is.
I like the way you think. All right. On that schemy note, let's move on to the outro. If my mouse would work. Here we go.
You could be like... I'll talk about it later.
Yeah. Too late. I like how they show in his notebook his costume that he drew.
Yeah.
And his mom made it for him.
It just gives me all the feels. She's like the
his
perfect
mom's
mom.
the best. She's the real waifu of the entire series.
That's right.
僕は存在意義を暗闇で探してる
Like, you hear this fucking beautiful, ornate bass line?
僕と僕を囲む世界で描いても
I liked it.
It's a cool walk down. But they don't do anything like what I've always been taught is count to 4 or count to 8. And it's usually count to 8. And wait till the 8th time around. That's when the drum fill's going to come around. Every drummer I've ever played with, that's typically how it works. I'll count to 8 times around. 8 measures around, 8th time around, drum fill. And so I know when to fucking fill out with the bass. But this guy was like, nope, 2nd time around. Walk down. Fucking cool.
I have to train Uli on that.
Sick.
Gonna catch you this time, Crunchyroll.
Yeah, caught you this time.
All right. Well, let's look at the lyrics
Take us into the lyrics,
before
Emily.
we take down that ding ding or that meh.
The ding ding or the meh. I don't think this one's getting any merits today.
I don't think so. So this is the very first line. Between my mediocre self and the world that surrounds me, I form an image and grab on, but it's still so far away.
Okay.
Okay.
That's
okay.
yeah.
All right. And then the second is, it doesn't matter if I stumble. It doesn't matter if I cry, because someday everything will come up roses. And that's like fucking Deku in a nutshell right there.
Everything will come up
Everything
roses.
will come up roses.
But roses really smell like poo poo poo, yeah.
Where the fuck did that come from?
I don't know. That's every time I hear roses, that's what I think of.
All right, so we agree that it's a ding ding ding.
Yes. Hopefully everybody knows what song I quoted there.
I would hope so.
If you don't, go
Don't-
learn yourself.
Don't talk to us anymore.
Go learn.
Go learn yourself some culture.
It's one of the best rappers of all time.
Jesus.
Nobody can argue with me on that.
That's true. That's true.
So what do you think, Emily? Does it fit?
I very much think it fits.
There's not a whole lot of reviewing that I can do for this, or like breakdown. I mean, I already talked about the bass lines and stuff. But it's just a really good rock song. You know, it fits the anime.
Mm-hmm.
It's got some cool parts. It is somewhat what's the emotion I'm looking for here? Not sadness, more like a little bit of angst. A little bit.
Yeah.
But
Well, I mean, even that first lyric kind of like showed that angst. So
angst in not necessarily a bad way. Like, I feel like a lot of times when people talk about being anxious and stuff, it's always a negative emotion.
well, it's like, you know, teenage angst and stuff like that. It's like,
But anxiety can be just excited for something
Yeah,
to come
no,
up, and
I
you're
feel
not
like-
sure how it's going to happen, but you're really happy about it. You're just anxious and excited. You know,
Yeah.
anxious to open your presents on Christmas morning. It
Right.
can still be positive. So I think this is more like an anxious, I can't wait to prove myself.
yeah.
I finally have the ability to prove myself and do some good shit. I don't have to be scared anymore. Like, this is who I am now. I'm growing as a person, and it's an anxious growth.
Yeah. No, I fully agree with that.
Cool.
Cool.
Cool. Oh, you're supposed to join in with me on that.
Sorry.
Want me to quote another song?
Do it.
Cool beans, cool beans.
Oh, God, you're so weird.
God, I'm just like coming out with the homages today from different shit, doing all kinds of shout outs.
Yeah, that's what's
All of my
happening.
favorite artists.
That's it. That's what's
That's
happening.
shut up. God.
All right, guys. It is time for one of our favorite segments. We're going to read some either really good or really dumb reviews.
Well, if it's dumb, we've already learned that they probably just didn't watch the fucking anime.
No. I have the dumbest of the dumbs of the 1 stars today.
Oh, yeah?
I do.
Did they actually watch, you think?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, they did.
Well, or they didn't watch at all. I'm not really sure. This happened a month ago.
A month ago. They just watched season 1 a month ago?
No, it's not even that. Okay, so There are a ton. So I have 3.
You're doing 1 star first.
I'm
right?
doing 1 star first.
Okay, perfect.
So I have 3 over here that are super short. They're just like 1 sentence each. But
3 1-star reviews.
3 1-star reviews
That are only one
sentence long.
Huh.
So I'm gonna read these, and I'm gonna read my favorite one last because it's my favorite 1-star review because it literally.
I wish you could review reviews and give reviews like 1 star.
This is a 1-star.
Your
review,
1-star review only gets 1 star from me. You fucking bitch.
You idiot. My favorite is that 6 people to 10 people found this helpful. So
6 to 10 people.
Yeah, so 2 of them have 6 people found this helpful, and 1 of them has that had 10 people found it helpful.
So 2 of them had 6. So 22 people are fucking idiots.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Heard.
So I'm gonna read this one first because it actually seems like it kind of goes along with the fandom is toxic. So it's from student Nicole B. 8 months ago, gave it a 1-star review. She says, I don't like My Hero Academia. There's no actual plot, and the fandom is so toxic, but it is anime, so at least you have some taste if you watch it.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm like, Did you
hear what you just said?
Exactly. We precisely just discussed this earlier. Like, who fucking cares? It's fucking anime. We all like anime. It doesn't matter which one.
It sounds like your 3-year-old son when I give him something that he actually doesn't like, and he goes... He like makes a face but still swallows it, and he's like,
and he gives you a thumbs up.
I was like, "Did you like that?" He goes, "Mm-hmm."
Like we expect him to say that it tastes good. Okay, so moving on to the next one. This is from Justin Zhao. The author made a big mistake, which is intolerable. If possible, I want to give 0 star. What?
I really want to read that. Like, in my head, I'm reading it with a really offensive, like, stereotypical accent.
No, don't do that.
Because he just doesn't. Whatever. I guess that was a bad review.
That was a really bad review.
That was a dumb review.
It's a dumb review. Why? What? But the last one is my favorite. 1-star review from Joey Ambuster. I can't watch this show because I don't have a Hulu subscription.
That was his
1-star review.
What's his name?
Just Joey Ambuster.
Joey Ambuster.
Yeah, so there was such a variety with 1-star reviews, and
you can just get it. You can get a free Hulu membership.
It just has ads.
It's got a ton of ads. It's
I
annoying
know.
as hell, but you could probably. I mean, you don't need premium, and if you do get premium, we'll watch it with you just to change your mind.
That's true.
There's watch parties on Hulu now.
Yeah,
which is super cool.
There were 1-stars on like how ugly the characters were, how much Deku cries. I'm like, I kind of understand what you're saying. I was like, maybe not so much on the characters being ugly, but yeah, that kid cries a lot. I could totally see what would put you off from that. But he gets that from his mommy, so he's just an emotional boy.
Yeah,
he's like Dax.
He's
an emotional boy.
Yes, and he's an only child.
Yeah. No dad.
With no dad and no quirk.
Yep, I understand it.
Yeah. He's had a pretty rough childhood, if you ask me.
Yeah. So we ready for the 5-star review?
And his best friend is an asshole.
Yeah, that's true.
To him his entire life.
Yeah.
Yes, let's get the 5-star review.
Okay. I love watching the show. It's great. I don't think I have any complaints. I wonder why my dad doesn't like it. Everything is so amazing, especially the story. I also love the style the characters are drawn, and the idea of a quirk makes me want a quirk now. Yep. And even the villains look so cool. My favorite character personally has to be Bakugo. I love his hair and his attitude. He looks so cool and has an amazing quirk. My favorite anime is not MHA though. It's actually Dragon Ball Z.
Hell yeah.
Bakugo reminds me of my favorite character.
Vegeta?
Makes
sense.
But honestly, I think that My Hero Academia is amazing and very entertaining. It could be for anyone. For a lot of the anime, the main character would sometimes be pretty ugly to me, but MHA has Deku, who looks really cute and handsome. I love all the characters except the ones I don't love. JK. I pretty much love the whole thing, so I guess I love all the characters. Wow, I'm pretty sure MHA could never catch up to DBZ for me, but it's really great, and the characters all have something special. I love Bakugo and Kirishima's friendship. Maybe even Uraraka. I shipped Jiro and Kaminari. It's so irritating how my dad compares MHA to Peppa Pig. My Hero Academia is super good, and you should watch it.
Who's your dad?
I know. Oh, yeah, and note that Peppa Pig is nothing compared to MHA. I think you can watch it on Crunchyroll, but I'm not sure. I love watching that show, even though I didn't finish. It's something that anyone who likes an action-packed and hero-villain life-changing anime would want to watch. So watch it!
I did.
Okay. So that was a strange 5-star review because her dad compared it to Peppa Pig.
Yeah, I don't know what context that is in.
I don't know either. I
That
was
is-
really
that is certainly
surprised.
interesting.
Why?
Why is your dad watching Peppa Pig?
That's a great question. Oh, my head just went to so many weird places.
I mean, maybe he's an animator and an artist or something, and he like gets paid to watch cartoons.
Maybe.
Maybe that's the case. Maybe
Don't say
maybe
it.
she. I didn't. Maybe she liked Peppa Pig as a child, as a younger child, and he's just
And he
comparing
just
it to
can't-
that
he
because
just-
you watch Peppa Pig too much.
Peppa.
That's what I said.
You said pepper.
I didn't.
You did.
It just sounded like it.
Both times.
I didn't. I didn't say pepper. Peppa. Peppa! There, happy? If I did, oops. I didn't mean for there to be an R there.
Get your shit straight. There's toddlers in the house.
Their shit ain't even straight.
I know.
Shit's way out of whack. All right, we're way off topic here. Let's move on to the composer, which is beautiful that we don't really have to give much information about them.
You want to know
Because-
why?
We already covered them last week, so
That's
go listen to Death
right.
Parade if you haven't already. We gave a background on Yuki Hayashi, our favorite men's gymnast turned major composer. Super hot.
Reference to our last episode.
Fuck yeah, it is.
Hell yeah.
And a little background on the OST, since it is just OST 1 for this season.
Yes, there is an OST for every season. So we
Yes.
will have a score to.
Which is
do.
good. I'm glad they did that. They didn't recycle so much stuff. I'm sure they recycled
I'm sure
some
they
stuff.
recycled some of it,
Like,
but they probably made it
motifs
in
that
a
made
different.
sense.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's different villains. There's new characters, so
Mm-hmm.
you gotta evolve the motifs a little bit, and the characters grow. So the OST 1 was released on Toho Records, and it is 35 tracks long. Worth the listen. That's actually my first note for the score.
Sure. Give
Is
it to us.
they put a lot of thought in the order of this.
They really did. And so when we listened to it, so we did something new this time. So we listened to the
That's
score.
what we should have been doing the whole time.
We
but whatever.
listened to this score before we started researching rewatching the anime. So we did watch all of season 1 already, and
and we've seen we're caught up on My Hero Academia all the way through, but every time we like to go rewatch if
to apply. We like to apply this
especially
score.
if it's been far enough out that we can rewatch it without feeling guilty that we just wasted time again since we already seen it. Like Death Parade, we didn't go back and rewatch because we watched Death Parade
Pretty recently.
a few months ago.
Yeah. And we're not going to watch next week's episode either because we've pretty recently seen that as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So we're, there's certain things that we'll go back and watch, but My Hero Academia happened at least 2 years ago.
Yeah.
So
And if there's something confusing as we're listening to the score, or we're like, man, I wonder where they put this song, we'll go try to find that song in the episode, a specific episode, in context.
And there were a few things that really I felt like they used a lot. That one that does the solo for each instrument, I can't remember which one that is. I'll have to do a little more research and find it. But it was very nice going back and having already heard the score and going back into it. But the thing that Garrett was trying to say was that they how they did the track listing very well and made it very cohesive. But there were definitely times where we were like, shit, did this track change?
The song definitely changed. Like they didn't add any space between the tracks.
Yeah.
It's just like one song right into the next. Now a couple of pieces they may have recorded like that
Maybe.
and then just put them as separate tracks.
Yeah.
Because there were a few pairs of songs like Dependable, Cheerful Person into Various Quirks. Those two songs are back to back, but the violin solo goes right into it, like walks out of the solo and right into Various Quirks, and it sounds like one piece, not the anime. One song piece. You know what I'm talking about.
It's one song piece.
It does. It sounds like one musical piece. I thought that was really cool. Like I said, as we were listening to this, since we listened to it first this time, it was interesting to see some of the transitions. I love the transitions between songs, but the first one that caught my ear was the pair of songs, which was I Will Become a Hero and Anguish of the Quirkless.
Yeah.
That one was interesting. I was like, man, that's a really weird transition. Those songs don't belong together. And that happens a couple times. But then as I'm watching the anime, it makes sense.
It makes sense.
Because the scene changes. The scene changes into something that's drastically different.
Right.
So you need the music to follow along with it.
Mm-hmm.
And one was the scene from the first or second episode where it's the slime villain.
Oh, right.
When he gets Midoriya.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the first time like All Might is really introduced personally. Like that's when they meet and All Might saves him from the slime guy.
Right.
And when they switch from that one into, I think it's I Am Here, or the song's called Watashi ga Kita. And when they do that, I'm like, holy shit, it's happy or it's really like Midoriya and his own thoughts.
Right.
And you hear that musical
And
piece,
you know,
and then you're like, holy shit, now it's villain has arrived.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, All Might has arrived. So
and
it's
then
like
it's
all
like
three
a
of those
whole,
pieces.
Right. It's a whole thing.
But the whole OST is like that. You could listen to the OST straight through, song 1 to song 35, and it fits amazingly. It tells the story of the first season all on its own musically. They did a great job with that. I thought that was awesome.
That was really cool. There were a bunch of things. I mean, Hayashi is definitely no Sawano when it comes to naming his tracks. He's very blatant about what his track names are.
Yes.
And as we talked about in our Death Parade, like he worked with Sawano a lot through their agency Legendor. So it's pretty interesting to see like coming from Attack on Titan and like his cryptic titles, and then you see something like this, like Mind of Evil, Darkness Dominates.
Yeah, I thought that's super interesting, and the fact that like you can hear the level of, it's not cinematography, but it's like the cinema, the big bold score,
The cinematic.
Thank you. What the fuck is wrong with my words today?
It's okay. I can't pronounce things, and you just can't come up with words.
Exactly.
It's fine. We're good.
But Sawano is really good at making it huge and cinematic, and I hear that in MHA, but I also hear a mix of genres that really don't belong together, but because of the various quirks and the world that we're in,
Yeah.
they can just be thrown in.
Well, I think a lot of that is helped along because, and I actually wrote this in my note, that you can hear his DJ apprenticeship.
Definitely. There's a ton
There's
of
a
dubstep
ton
and EDM.
of like, even the beats dropping. Like, sometimes those songs, like you can have that like steady EDM feel to it, but this is like he builds it up and then he fucking drops the beat.
Yeah, I have something like that too.
It is crazy. So the rock really surprises me because like, a lot like
But
it
the
can be a
rock is
whole
done
slew.
well, too.
Yeah, no. It, like there's a whole slew of like an EDM section, and then like all of a sudden you've got this fucking electric guitar coming in. It sounds really dirty on top of this like crazy like electronic beat.
He does one technique, and like you said about the drops, with the tension and release, he does the same technique throughout this entire score with tension and release. One is being those EDM, the classic EDM bass drop. Everybody knows what that is.
Yeah.
The other thing that he does is that he leaves a brief moment of space that's not silence, like it's filled with a pad or something that just the underlying music bed where it's not completely silent, even if it's just white noise. And then all of a sudden he comes right back around with a hit, you know? It's just that moment of you heard a song, you heard all the beats being filled in by different instruments, and all of a sudden none of them are there.
Yeah.
And then they all hit again.
And then they all hit together.
Yeah. So that he does that on a ton of songs, all the battle songs, the villain palettes, usually those are all there, especially when you want the villain to startle you. I love the motifs, or at least the palette of sounds that he used to capture the villains. He did that really, really well. And the hero palettes, actually.
He did, especially like I starred Villain Invasion because it like the horns really sounded like the villain. And I think that's a really good imagery for your mind, because you're kind of almost like programmed to assume that the horns are going to be the villains. And as much as it seems cliche to use the same instrument to represent, but it's the same thing with like a tremolo violin. That's like ominous, and that's like sound that you're going to get, a slidey cello, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And then there were just so many there was a weird crunching sound in there. It was that one, and we looked at each other and we're like, the fuck is that?
Yeah, he does a lot of that stuff, and it's funny that you say those horns. You think of villain. When I think of horns, I think of explosions, fire, like that sort of element of Earth.
That's what villains do. It's called Villain Invasion,
Except for one horn, which which is kind of cool that they use this horn to transition into like the hero side of it.
Oh, right. No, there's
French horns.
Yeah.
French horns are epic and angelic. It is like the divine fire rather than hellfire.
Well, I mean, you see all those celestial beings, and if they're holding an instrument, it's usually a French horn.
The French horn, yeah. So it's that divine fire versus hellfire, and I think that there's just a lot of this whole score was done really well. I was super impressed by it. There was only one song that bugged me.
Which one was that one?
And I still think that it fits. It's just it bugged me because I didn't like it felt too trendy, I guess, is the right way to do it.
Wait,
the right way to say it.
Which one was it?
I'm trying to find it. I think it's
There were two that I was just like,
it was Hero A.
Hero A.
Hero A. Decent insert song. The rock orchestra meets hip hop and dubstep. These are my notes. This song reaches a bit too far for me. I'm torn because the real instrumentation is sick as fuck, but tries too hard to appeal to like a younger crowd.
Yeah, I said it was cheesy. I said it was cheesy, and that it does bring back the main motif of the first track. So I thought that was, I thought it's nice that they still included that, and it's not just a cheesy insert song. It has purpose.
Yeah, it does, and I do think it still fits. It's not like it doesn't fit. I just thought it was like, man, it does reach a little too far towards like, okay, what are the kids in middle school gonna like? I know that they like dubstep. How do we make them like rock and roll?
Right. Well, it fit the scene too.
It did.
It fit the scene, and it like I said, it's cheesy. But there were a couple of songs and it was actually they were two in a row that I was just like, oh, this sounds like a standard OST song, and I put on Massive Villain Appearance. It's like you get that really big danger sound, and then that was all it was like essentially to it. It was like it's kind of disappointing how some of the themes almost are super. Like you almost expect what they're gonna sound like. Like some of the tracks, it was almost like, okay, this is like a standard score sound, but then most of them were very different in their own ways and very relatable to the anime itself.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I love this entire score. I mean, I have notes. We have notes for every single song, and we were moving through it so quick. I had to like sum up everything as best as I could.
Yeah, we were having to actually like pause
to finish our notes.
Yeah.
I thought where was it? Hero Shadow was really cool. And Uh-Oh is one that I have to play. The song Uh-Oh. I was like, my notes for this were 2 sentences. What a surprise of a song. Very well arranged with an interesting combo of instruments. And I know that we have to play. I circled it for a reason. But that transitions, the songs around it, I think, are what make it even more interesting.
The Flustered
is right before it.
Yeah, and then Hero Shadow was after that.
Yeah, Flustered sounds like I put a bit like Kakashi's theme, but getting used to a new situation.
Okay.
And then you have the hero's shadow, which is that lingering black cloud. Piano sounds like it's keeping a secret / revealing a secret to the audience. It's sad, painful, and a hint of regret, but also acceptance. But I thought that was weird that Uh-Oh was in between those two songs.
Yeah.
So let's take a listen to Uh-Oh really quick. And you can really hear like the DJ influences on this song. Break out the pacifiers.
No shit.
And then you got that weird space thing that we were talking about earlier.
So at that point, you even think that it might even be a different track.
And I honestly don't remember where they placed the song in the show. But they reuse a motif here. Maybe it's when he like busts his arm up.
Probably.
Because his body isn't used to the quirk. Yeah.
That's a new song.
And you hear how weird like the placement that the next song was Hero's Shadow.
Yeah.
And it's when I know that it's when All Might is telling, I don't remember who it is, but I know he's telling the story of how he can't be a hero anymore. He's dying essentially.
Yeah. Yeah, another thing I love about this score is that, a lot of times people really remember like the intros and outros and stuff like that. And a lot of times they'll bring it back around in the score because it'll be the same composer.
Yeah.
But I love that this one has two like really big themes that you really walk away from. And they're My Hero Academia and Plus Ultra. Like those are like super iconic themes to the point that when I watch it now, like when we were rewatching it and I kept hearing My Hero Academia theme come back on, I was like kind of tearing up. I'm like, it's such a happy moment. And it's like you got to fight back the fucking tears because you're like,
My Hero Academia is such an epic song
it's
too.
so big.
It's huge.
And it's like, and the way that he created.
I work out to that shit.
Yeah.
When I was teaching kickboxing, Emily knows this was on my kickboxing playlist for everybody to jam out to.
Yeah,
they fucking loved it.
And half of them didn't even know that it was an anime song.
Nope, none of them knew.
Yeah.
None of them knew.
I liked my secret Easter eggs of kickboxing music.
Isn't it fun? That's so much fun.
It was really nice dating the instructor, that's for sure.
I think I know that's weird for me to play Uh-Oh first as the one song that we break down. So like the first song that we break down from the OST.
Okay, yeah, the first song. I was like, it's not the only song, yo.
No, it won't be the only song, but it is an interesting first song to choose. And I think that's because it might have been the first song that I circled. I don't like to give everything away. I want you guys to go listen to it through your speaker systems, your car, rock the fuck out to it. Listen to it start to finish. It's about an hour long, the 35 songs.
Yeah, because the whole album, well, I think it's probably like closer to like an hour and 15.
Let's find out. Let's find out when OST 2.
Oh, yeah, it's an hour. Yeah, that's right. Because the second OST is like an hour and a half.
Yeah, it's just over an hour for OST 1.
Because the second season was longer. So
and on our YouTube playlist, the best video we could find was like, it was a whole video that just has timestamps for each song, but it's OST 1
also has
and
the
OST
second
2.
one. Yeah.
So just listen to OST 1. We'll put the same video for season 2 whenever we do it.
Keep it consistent.
But yeah, listen to it start to finish. It's a really cool piece altogether. It's a cool production, and I love how it told the story of season 1 without you having to watch it. Like, you've already seen it. You can kind of hear where the things happen. There's so much stuff. The various quirks I thought was really cool. I didn't circle it to play. it was a little when this piece was playing when Midoriya is talking about everybody's different quirks, you know, and we're seeing all of the super eclectic quirks that, you know, if 80% of the population has quirks, there are going to be some that are vastly different, a few similar ones, but some that are just really imaginative.
Yeah, and I liked various quirks too. I did star that one.
You did?
I did. There were a lot though that I starred because I was like,
didn't star
"Oh, this
that
is
many.
so weird. This is so weird. Oh my god, this is so weird." But I did star this one because I really liked the beginning walk down that they did, and then it had some kind of like it was like a mix between Middle Eastern and Latin vibes that you ended up getting from that. And then they also kind of brought that back around later because they had like one that I was like, "Ooh, some Arabian Nights type shit."
Yeah. They had some interesting ones. The notes that I have for various quirks, a bit scary, but also adventurous, super, super fucking eclectic. Feels ancient and historic, like it has always been around, especially with those string scrapes and stuff. I loved that. And it does have that like Middle Eastern kind of.
But it was also
feel
kind
to
of,
it.
it was even kind of Latin too.
Yeah,
Like,
it was very world music-y.
yeah. And like, you know, and even the combination of like duets that they would do. Like on the second track, they have a fucking electric guitar and harp. What
Yeah.
the shit is that?
There's a bunch of
Like it was just a bunch of
combinations.
crazy combos that you would never think of. And even in my notes, and I'm like, why did he think of that? That's so crazy. I drew a mind blown emoji.
Yeah,
It looks like a dude with curly hair, but nonetheless,
mind blowing.
mind blown.
Let's see. Is there anything that you want to show?
You know, there's a couple of things that I want to show because I highlighted.
I don't
so
want to
many.
read all my notes, but it may be interesting to like actually put a Google Doc or something together with our notes. And
I
just
know, we're
compare
so
'em,
fucking
or
weird.
let you guys read them. There's a lot that I wrote about this. That's for sure.
Yeah, so there's some that like have sounds that just I was like, "Start, I really want to play this." Like at the beginning of Mind of Evil, it had that really ominous piano, and then it was like, "The fuck is that scream?"
Yeah,
That really piercing scream.
there was a couple of they just captured the emotions really well. Stealthy steps, sick use of flute and guitar, so much going on in the mix.
Yeah, it made it sound like those like black and white noir like
Yeah, and I
kind
actually
of.
wrote, or really not a lot, rather, but it feels like a lot by filling in the sonic gaps of time and leaving certain gaps of frequency for the instrumentation that they
Right.
chose to use. They picked a group of instruments that fill frequency ranges.
Right.
You know, it's not two guitars at the same time. Or if it is two guitars, it's like one playing the low end, one's playing the high end.
Yeah.
They're really filling in the entire spectrum of frequency that humans can hear and probably above what
Right.
humans can hear. I thought that was cool. Battle training's cool, intense in a fun way. You know, it sounds like the students are battling.
Yeah, and then they
It's
had
not an evil battle.
and
or
then they
a
had
fight for your
like
life.
the banjo and guitar and then a ton of horns come in. I loved that. It was a super high paced track and
Yeah.
it was a very good one, but it definitely felt like a battle, but it was a training battle.
And the group of songs that, like, the way they group songs together, like I said, they put a lot of thought into it. Between the songs Bright and Cheerful, Rebellious Youth, Stealthy Steps, Battle Training, UA High, and Lunch Break Song all fit as their own piece. Like, that is an entire group of pieces that go together beautifully,
Yeah.
seamlessly.
Yeah, there's two songs that I really feel like I want to play. One of them is because it's something that plays quite often. It's that one I finally found that one that I was looking for, which is the thread of offense and defense.
Okay.
I think, but I also really liked the song "Dependable" due to the violin. I even wrote like what every violinist wants to sound like.
Okay.
Like if we ever get
And
a
that one
chance
was
to
what?
really dependable,
Okay.
dependable, cheerful.
Dependable, cheerful person.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that I didn't highlight that one. I just the two songs that were together on that. I thought that was a weird combination of songs.
Yeah, but also like it even at the beginning, it sounded like a horror film score, which kind of really surprised me that it was called Dependable Cheerful. Because it was like, oh, this is kind of creepy. Yeah, I think I want to play that one because I always want to highlight the violins and I loved the plucking in it. I put the end is chef's kiss.
Nice. Well, I only have one more circled after this one.
I have a bunch.
I know you have a bunch. I always like to just keep it as simple as possible and circle the ones that are different, that you may not the most popular ones and not the ones that you think of right away when you think of the OST for each anime. All right, this is Dependable Cheerful Person.
Good job.
Wind ad-lib.
What every violinist wants to sound like. I'm telling you.
Man, if I didn't I remember as we took notes for this, actually, I was like, are you sure this is the right song?
See? Starts off as like a horror film score. I lied, guys. I totally lied. This is exactly the song that I wanted to play, and it combines both of the things that I want.
So the next song is the one you wanted to play. This is
that
a different
what's at
song.
the end of it? Oh,
Yeah.
so then Various Quirks was the one that I wanted to see. The walk down is a fantastic touch. Blah. I'm a dummy.
That's okay. Wait, I can just hit play again.
Yeah, hit play again because that was exactly that song is the other song that I would have wanted to play.
Do you hear the transitions that we're talking about? Like you
I
didn't, that was
had no
seamless.
idea.
It sounded like the same song. It actually was a different song. I'm gonna play it exactly from where I paused it. Here is the rest of it, or the next song.
So this beginning part is something that you hear a lot throughout the first season.
Oh yeah,
a
yeah,
lot.
yeah. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Different instruments getting like their own little solo.
Hear that little bass wobble underneath too. The scrapes. Yeah, that was the scrapes I was talking about
See?
too.
And there's the Middle Eastern Latin vibe.
Various quirks. We came right back around to it.
Look at that 360.
So eclectic. And this is what I mean by ancient. It sounds like people have had these powers, these quirks for a long time.
Yeah.
Like they've always been around. It's part of regular society now.
Yep.
But there's so many different things. You have that symbol in the background or
That resonates.
Uh-huh. And whatever the fuck that quirk is.
All right. I think that's pretty good. Like we did exactly what we wanted to do.
Yes,
here.
yes,
This is perfect.
Cool. On accident too. All right. Great job, guys. Good teamwork.
Good teamwork.
Good teamwork.
All right.
Round of applause for everybody.
Yeah. So, that Dependable Cheerful Person, that song, if you could ever make my violins sound like that on a mix, even if I was playing like shit, I'd probably still feel like I sounded like a fucking badass because the way that the tone of that violin is the way that it the reverb on it and the tonality of that violin
And attacking that violin.
Oh my
yeah.
gosh.
That's pure emotion coming out.
Double stops are hard in general on a violin because now you're controlling how much pressure you're putting of your bow onto the string. So you're going to get that screechiness if you are not doing it flawlessly.
Isn't that why people like turn their bows to the side?
They turn it to the side so that way it's not super crunchy. So they turn it to the side so that way they can avoid and only a little bit of the bow hair is really touching the string. And you don't have this huge wide amount because once you push down, all of those hairs flatten out because it's really like 10 rows of bow hairs or like horsehair going up the bow, but they condense it so that way the rosin stays on the bow and you don't have to rosin as much.
Interesting.
And it makes sure that you're not like there's a fiber of hair hitting the string every time you put your bow down.
Okay.
So it's yeah, that would be a dream to sound like that.
And I mean, with your electric violin too, I bet those double stops and even the screechiness, you can use the shitty sounds, and I put that in air quotes, to make it like your own tasteful version of like you sound like shit on purpose.
Yeah,
and you use
and
it
you know,
as a
and
color.
anybody would love that that feel like, yeah, I sound shitty on purpose. I did that on purpose.
Fuck yeah.
And I don't know if I could really pull that off.
Oh, I
so well.
make my bass sound like shit on purpose too. There's one of the tones that I love on my bass is if I turn up the highs, the mids, and the lows just all the way, just dime them all.
Yeah.
And it sounds like it just pushes so much electricity because I have active pickups too.
Right.
For those of you that don't know what active pickups are, it's just like essentially a battery powered pickup. It uses electricity rather than just being, it's just a magnet. So I have a Fender jazz bass, an elite jazz bass, and this thing is the tone that you can get out of it by diming the highs, mids, and lows. It just sounds super. It already is forcing so much electricity, and all those frequencies are being dimed that you can distort your amp a little bit sooner. So you can really like control the tone with the amplifier rather than just the bass, and I think that's really cool. You get a really kind of gross, shitty sound. It sounds awesome.
Yeah, and
Gross on
your
purpose.
bass is massive too.
Yeah, I think it's like fucking playing a baseball bat.
Yeah. All right, let's continue on with the score. We're almost done. We're almost finished.
I wanted to play Mind of Evil.
Okay. Yeah, I had some notes on Mind of Evil.
Is there anything else you had circled? I know you had a bunch.
I had a bunch, but I feel like, a lot of them are on the villainous dark side. Those were my favorite ones.
Yeah, the villain ones were cool.
Yeah, no, Mind of Evil, I have a big chunk. I was like, I can see the Mind of Evil.
Yeah, I mean, you can literally see it in the Nomu.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
With his brain sticking out of his head.
It's ridiculous. Okay, yeah, let's play it.
And his independently moving eyeballs.
Because this is where that
creepy.
piercing scream is. So I'm in.
For Mind of Evil?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
This is where that piercing scream is.
Let me
Keep
find
going.
it. Let me find it. Let me find
there.
it.
Right there, 27.
27. Here is Mind of Evil.
The ominous piano.
Oh, yeah. Such dissonance. Those drones. I put, for my notes, dissonant, maniacal, powerful, screams of terror. They actually use screams of terror. You can hear it.
It even sounds like a leopard or something.
Yeah. You have the chains, the sounds of chains. You feel this in your gut.
Yeah.
It's almost like they use a sound like a chainsaw in here too. It's like really fucked up chainsaw. Wow, I had really a lot of writing typos here too. I put chinsaw and fuck with an E and no D at the end of it. Fucked up. And I love the ending of this.
Yeah, I know. I said, and the ending.
I was like, it sounds like two different things are happening here. It's getting more powerful, and then it transitions with the resolve into the next song, and you can't breathe.
Yeah.
Like it's cool. We're gonna let this play out into its entirety.
Okay.
love that guitar.
I know. You've got this brooding darkness, and like you can really like it's so maniacal.
I think we're on the next song.
Yeah, I think so as well. Which is spreading anxiety. So it's like you're coming out of that song and you're like already like kind of on edge, and you're like, oh.
Yeah. This is the next song. It's got the high frequency tones. Like sounds like your ears ringing.
Yeah, super different sounds, different distortions, the bass, the vocals of the song. Like it's like a whole thing.
All right, we're gonna stop it right there.
Yeah.
But yeah, the chord changes that they use on that song in particular, going from like modulating up just a semitone. It sounds super cool the way they do all that.
Mm-hmm.
It's very, very spreading anxiety. Man, I love this fucking score. I think that's pretty much all the notes that I want to get into today.
Same. I think I've covered pretty much everything that I like. I just loved the way of like his use of instrumentation and providing melodies in a way that like you wouldn't expect them. On one of the tracks he does like that. He has the tremolo violins, but they're making a melody while they're tremolo. Like it's one of those darker songs. So
and it kind of sounds like it's blossoming.
So it's
out
kind
a
of
bit.
yeah. So it's like you've got these like and if you don't know what tremolo is, it's where the violin bow is moving. It's moving very fast, and you're basically like moving at like a 64th note beat, but it's for the duration of a quarter note or a half note or something like that, and you're on that same note. But he makes this beautiful melody out of this tremolo violin, and it's just really interesting because normally when you hear a tremolo violin, it's like usually a harmony or it's in the background. It's not really the forefront, but it was the forefront of that song.
Cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah. Well, I think now that the OST notes are, we've decided that we're not going to do anything else. Let's get on to the fun facts.
Yeah, let's close it out.
Close her out.
All right. So, fun fact number 1. In case you didn't know, Bakugo was originally supposed to be a nice dude who accidentally said offensive things without realizing it. But Horikoshi thought that would be boring, so he didn't. So
Yeah.
he is what he is today.
Yeah, I like how he is today too. He's a hot-headed asshole.
I love how they animated his scowl.
Oh yeah. And it matches his mom's
It
too.
does, yeah.
Another fun fact, there's actually a lot that Horikoshi thought would be boring. Present Mike was supposed to be bald, an old man. But again, Horikoshi said no, but he did leave the word hage, which means bald, on his headphones for shits and giggles. Little Easter
Little
egg.
fun Easter egg
Little
to the
inside
initial
joke.
planning. So initially, Horikoshi chose quirks based on what would progress the story, but then he just kind of decided at random. And this is a direct quote. He said, "But since then, it has been more of a light bulb or an aha moment by being inspired by things around me. For example, with Gran Torino, I came up with this quirk when I was taking a shower. I looked at the shower head and I was like, oh, that would be cool for something to come out of his feet, like having a propellant come out of them. So that's how his quirk was inspired."
Look at that.
Look at that.
I'm a big fan of Gran Torino
I wonder why.
because we share the same birthday.
Because you share the same birthday.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. So
That's it.
that was our show. I really hope
That's
that
season 1.
I hope that you'll go through and listen to that OST. There's a ton of different musical varieties for everybody.
Oh yeah, there is so much going on. It was done very well, captured the emotions really, really well. And there's so much more that we didn't cover.
There's a whole lot. There's different instruments that we didn't even talk about. There's, we talked about the electric guitar and harp thing. I hope you'll go listen to that because it is an interesting combo. I don't think I've ever heard an electric guitar and a harp before together. So I think that's probably why it's like whoa.
Catches
Would
your
have
attention.
never
Yeah.
fucking thought of that.
It's a cool mix.
Yeah.
But
So-
yeah, definitely go listen to it. There's a link to the YouTube playlist in our show notes, as well as a link to our Instagram. If you haven't followed that yet, go follow that. We post news about the show. We share artwork, fan art. We do covers sometimes. It's really just like a whole kind of a tribe, little anime tribe that we have grown on Instagram. It's just progressively getting bigger. So if you haven't, check that out. Go check that out. We also have a TikTok too.
Yes, we're slowly progressing on that.
Yeah,
one.
like we said, it's a little underwhelming right now, but we're getting there. We're
We're gonna come to a time where we have
all the social media platforms.
Social media platforms on lock, and we can give you all kinds of entertainment through all kinds of vices. Until then, not so much.
That's okay.
But here we go.
Here we go.
Guys, thank you so fucking much for joining us. We love having you. And whether you're cozied up with your own BBC or you're taking us with you for the ride, we are absolutely thrilled to be sharing our love of music, anime, and sound effects with you.
That's right. So with that being said, we're done.
Have a great fucking day.
And we'll see you next time.
Absolutely.
Next week on... God, we're so bad at this.
We suck.
Oh, my God. That's it for us. Tune in next week for another episode of...
Anime
Noise. Bye, guys.
Okay, bye.
This has been a Beanbag Chair Media production.